And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to an episode of Unstructured, but not the Unstructured you knew, a reinvented Unstructured, where we actually talk about honest stuff, true stuff, less entertainment and more motivation for you.
Yeah, the real shit, like
Real shit.
the shit that you probably didn't know that you wanted to hear, but the moment you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck!" Like I needed to hear this shit at this moment. Like,
I mean, yeah, me and Ayden are here, so we'll be the host of this new Unstructured, and basically premises that Unstructured is about not being put into a structure that society deems you to be. That's all this whole show started out as and is about.
step out of the matrix, fellas. That's really what the fuck we're here to talk. We're like straight up. We're literally here to be like, "Yo, man, like we're Morpheus, and we're trying to show y'all like, yo, man, these systems that you have in place, these constructs that you have in your mind, you got to break that shit down to be able to step out and become who you really are destined to be, type shit." So it's very, very different from the rest of the nerdcore content.
Yeah, so this is a
But
little
it's
more
like, hey,
serious matter, and we'll probably will bring guests on the show, but for
yeah,
now it's
I'd
just
love that.
me and Ayden having a conversation. So the first few will probably just be that, and I guess we'll just start at the beginning, Ayden.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna start. I was literally just gonna be like, "How's your day? Like, what,
I
what
I
what
mean
all do you, what all
I
did
did
you do today?"
driving today. I did driving today, so
Oh
I just
man,
sat there, had my playlist on, and I'm just driving. So
yep.
I went up to a conference and only for like an hour. Met some friends up there, and then came back because I was like, this is important. I want to be here for this specifically,
Yeah,
and so I made it back in time. And that's been my day. I did wake up this morning though at 5:15. I woke up at 5:15, and by 5:30 I was on the treadmill and did that for 30 minutes
nice,
before I even got
nice.
going. So, and then last night I did 50 minutes on the treadmill, did two and a half
Hell yeah,
miles. So I'm getting there.
yeah, yeah. That's see, man. That's the question I want to ask the audience, man. Like, what the fuck? What did you do today, man? You know what I mean? It's like you've logged onto YouTube clearly, or you're on Spotify or whatever it
Or
is. You might be
TikTok.
like
TikTok's bad.
TikTok.
It's just
Don't be
dopamine
on that
right
shit.
there at your
Don't be on that
fingertip.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, like what the fuck. Like, what did y'all do today? You know what I mean? Like, whenever you woke up, did you lay in bed today for an hour? You know what I mean? You went through Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, whatever TikTok, whatever your fix is. I mean, this was something I was talking with my grandmother about, like literally like 2 hours ago. We went to Chick-fil-A, got some food, and she was complaining about like some bullshit on Facebook. Oh, these people, I want to post what I want to post, but like, and I was like, why do you care? Like,
Yeah.
why do you even care what people think about what you post on Instagram? And I
I
know that
mean,
it's like,
why are you even on there? Honestly,
yeah,
that's
yeah, or
that's
not
another
Instagram,
thing.
Facebook. But yeah, that was the question that I had. I was like, well, why are you even on Facebook in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, you know that it's bad for you. And I was talking to her about like, I've like the way that I've grown up, I still have like fragments of the memory of like what it was like before social media. But
Hmm.
like I never grew up without the internet. You know what I mean? Like I never lived in a world that didn't have some type of internet. Like my earliest memory was like nickjr.com, like playing shit whenever I was a little, like backyardigans, like Adobe Flash games and shit, and like the Lilo and Stitch, like Stack 'em sandwich maker for all the people who know that. But it was just like, I asked her, I was like, "Do you remember what life was like before social media?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, you could think for yourself, and everyone was so creative, and you had to come up with things to do for yourself, and we would go outside, and it's like, yeah, life was better without this shit." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like,
life was more interesting, I think. I mean, sometimes it's nice if you have a question for like Google and it's just like, hey Google. But it used to be
yeah,
you question something with your friends, and if you didn't know, you didn't know. So, and then
yeah.
you went
You
on
would
with
go
your
to
day.
fucking encyclopedia and look at the
Yeah.
fucking book, and that's the real. I'm like, man, when's the last time people picked up a book too? It's like people, oh, I read all the time. I talk to the people at work. I read all the time. It's like, man, reading like Hollywood
Being what?
Reporter articles and like shit like that. Like, top 10 anime movies turned into live action. Who gives a fucks? You know what I mean? Like, this shit doesn't like,
You
like,
know,
we're structured in such a way where like we're so focused on shit that does not matter.
yeah. And I 2 weeks ago, I was reading politics and all that. I haven't read politics for the last 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
literally was like, I don't care. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Whoever gets what, I'm still gonna have to get up. I'm still gonna have to deal with the day. I'm still gonna have to go to work. It doesn't fucking matter in the least.
Right.
So
Yeah. Like,
that's what I'm learning and growing with is yeah, there's stuff we had anxiety for, we have worries for. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter compared to the universe, we don't matter. So
yeah. Dude, I was watching this video. This black scientist, man. I had to find out who it was. Um, I'll look it up in a second. But they were talking about like, you know, solid matter, or like what we deem solid matter is like, it's really not solid. You know what I mean? How it's like
yeah,
everything in this universe is just like atoms, and like when light passes through those, it creates these constructs that we see, like, like I'm grabbing this bottle right now, but like I'm really not grabbing this. Like, this is just light. You know what I mean? Like, electricity is bouncing off of this bottle, and the electricity from my hand, or the construct that I deem my hand, is holding this bottle. You know what I mean? Like, and then whenever you break it down on that and everything, like, nothing is real. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's all
this is
it's
the
all
this is
vibrations and frequency. That's what it is.
yeah, this is the shit that I've been so focused on lately, where it's like I see people all the time, like, and I think of my coworkers and like even some of our friends, where they're like always so fucking worried about like, oh, what is this person gonna think about me, or you know what I mean, or like, oh, I'm not, I gotta go home and I gotta play my fucking. I mean, I'll use Apex Legends because they're always in Discord playing Apex, or like, oh, I gotta play Warzone and shit, and oh, I don't have time for it, and it's like, whenever you get to that level where it's like you can create your own reality. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
not like on some like Marvel bullshit where it's like, oh, I'm creating my own reality in my hands, like I'm Franklin Richards. It's like, nah, man. Like, create. You have to take some of these walls that you've built up in your head, and you have to fucking break them down, man. Like, one by one. Where it was like me, man. Like, I guess because like we're more like, this is more like a self improvement type thing, man. I mean, y'all can see, like, the people who like watch this channel, like, if you can see me from like 2 years ago content versus now, like, I don't even look the same. Like,
Yeah.
I don't at all look like the same person. It's not because my hair and shit, you know what I mean? But I mean, that's the more like a noticeable thing. But it's like, what? Like, I've got fucking like, I've got muscles and shit, you know what I mean? And like, I
Well,
feel
and
better, and I've got a
you have
different energy
confidence.
about myself. Yeah, like the
That's what
confidence.
I've noticed is just this confidence, and I'm just like, man, I want that. I want to
Yeah.
get to that.
Yeah. And it's because I had like those constructs in my head that were like, someone placed them in there. You know what I mean? It's not like no one goes out there and goes, I'm going to be an insecure person today.
No.
But like, this is the point that I'm getting at. Social media gets to that point where like you're constantly comparing these video games. They overstimulate the shit out of you, and you get to the point where like you're just a brain dead zombie sitting on there for like 8 hours a day playing shit that doesn't matter. And it's like, no one ever picks themselves to play as in a video game. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, they always create a new character, or like they gender swap, or whatever the fuck, however you want to play these games. But like, the point is, like, no one is really truly happy with themselves. You know what I mean? Or not no one, but like a majority of people are like, they're not fucking happy with themselves. Like, they
No.
don't
They're not.
like the person that they are. And I find that shit fucking sad. Like, and I was in that boat too. I would literally wake up and I would like, I'd wake up at like, I would go to bed like 3 in the morning, like pretty regularly, like around, whenever COVID and all that was going on. I would wake up like 3 a.m. pretty regular, or go to bed 3 a.m. pretty regularly. And I'd wake up like 11:30 in the morning. Sometimes I would sleep past 12. You know what I mean? Like, I had a fucking day where I woke up at 1:30 and I had to go to work at 2. And it was like, I've got 30 minutes to take a shower, brush my teeth, eat food, you know what I mean, drink water, get in the car and go to work. How the fuck am I supposed to do that? You know what I mean? It's like I didn't even have a respect for myself to give myself enough time to like get ready for the fucking tasks that are most important for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just
I
like, go
I'm
ahead.
finding that I'm getting so much more done. Like especially during the weekends. Like on the weekends, I generally always woke up early because I get up at 4:30 for work. So
Yeah.
really I'd wake up at 7 or 8. I set my alarm for 5:30 now. If I can get up, I can go on the treadmill for 30 minutes to an hour. I read and I'm already busting ass and doing stuff before my wife even gets up. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like, yeah.
Isn't
So
it such a
I,
like it's a great feeling to like whenever you get done with like half the shit that you have to do today before the world has even woken up.
yeah.
It's like
And
holy
like
shit.
I think last weekend, the weekend before, like I ran for an hour, I read for an hour, I did the dishes. I was like on it and like before my wife even like stirred.
Hmm.
So um yeah, it's one of those things. It's getting your mind in check and making it a habit. And that's why I told my wife. My wife was like, "Well, why don't you only run for 3 days, and exercise 3 days." And I'm just like, "No, cuz I'm trying to make a habit." So, I'm trying to like at least do it once a day, like generally when I get home from work. That's when I do it. But what ends up happening is I'll do it when I get home at work, and then I'll do a 30-minute podcast with Raul, and then I'll get back on and do another 30 minutes. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to form a habit of like the treadmill is a part of my day. That's a part
Yeah.
of my day. And then I need to clean out my garage. That's my next big task because I can put my weight stuff up. And then I'm going to make that a habit as part of my day as well.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's all about like creating those habits and like
And good
staying
habits.
fucking yeah, good habits and like staying consistent with it because it's like I mean, we titled this video discipline, but it's not really like we really had anything going. I just pulled some shit out of my ass, but it's like that really is like you know that's the key to happiness. You know what I mean? And it's the key to like our freedom. You know what I mean? Where it's like for so long I would daydream. I would actively just like check out of this current reality, and I would just hide into my brain, and I would go, oh man, like in the future I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna have a hot wife. I'm gonna have kids that love me and respect me. And like I'm gonna have the physique that I want. And I'm gonna be the nicest dude. I'm gonna be that dude on the block. Like I'm gonna be that guy who coming home from work every day, brings my wife a rose because I love my wife so much. But it was like, dog, I can even do that in my current relationships. Like, my at the time, like, and it's been about a year since the last girl that I was with. I've been going on like being single for like a year now, which honestly is one of the best things I've done for myself because I was always
You're able to find
afraid.
yourself.
Yeah, I really needed to find myself, and I really feel like I have, and I still am. Like it's an
It's
ongoing
an
process
ongoing
forever.
process. Yeah.
Yeah, it never stops. Um, but I was just like, I was always surrounding myself with like women and like drugs, alcohol, whatever it was, because I was like, I couldn't sit with myself for more than 10 minutes. Like that's how much I didn't like myself because I couldn't even sit with myself for more than 10 minutes without searching for like some type of stimulation or whatever. And I was ruining other people's lives with that because I mean, this girl that I was dating last year, um, call her she like I noticed at a certain point like she was telling me more and more about like this guy friend that she was hanging out with, you know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck. Like I'm not afraid to like I'm a jealous guy. I'm not afraid
Hmm.
to admit that shit. Like I get jealous. Everyone gets jealous. Like people tell you that they don't get jealous, they're fucking lying. You know what I mean? But it's about how you go about it. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be a
Yeah.
dick about it. But it was like subconsciously I knew I was like, man, like she never like was hanging out with this dude before, and our relationship had kind of just like been at a stagnant point, if not already just dropping off. And I was like, man, like, am I really like such a person where it's like she's having to look for some other dude to give her like the fulfillment that I'm not giving her? You know what I mean? And it's like that was kind of what brought about the awareness of to be like, holy shit, like I'm not even close to that guy that I have in my head. Like this picture of like who I thought that I'm gonna be when I grow up, or like who I'm aspiring to be. You know what I mean? And it was like, if you want to be somewhere, and if you want to do something in life, you know, and if you want those goals to happen, you have to be doing something every single day that's gonna push that forward. You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah,
like, if
even
it's
small things,
yeah,
even the tiniest thing, but if it's an improvement, it's an improvement.
yeah, it was just like, okay, well, you know, I mean, and this is a problem, and I'm sure we'll get into this a lot, but like, and I don't give a fuck, like, you know what I mean, like, but like the demasculinization of like men these days, like it is fucking killing us. You know, like we are literally like killing ourselves. You know what I mean? Like suicide rates are like an all-time high,
Yeah,
and I truly believe that it's because of like, you know, like social media, video games, porn, like all this shit, like all these overstimulants that like, you know what I mean? Like part
they
of my
don't lead to
problems with,
anything.
yeah, like part of the reason why like I felt like she was seeking out other men was because like, and this is getting really fucking personal, but I don't like this. This is what I'm here for, you know. Like, listen to what I'm saying. Like, if someone's young who's listening to this right now, and they're, you know, you might be going through some of the same shit in your life right now, or you may be older. You may be older than us too. You know what I mean? But like, you know, you can get knowledge from anywhere. But like, dude, we stopped having sex because like I literally couldn't even get erections because I was constantly stimulating myself with porn, you know what I mean? And I had this fucked mentality that like, if a girl didn't look like how she looked in these videos, like she wasn't worth it to me, and like
Hmm.
just constantly lowering my testosterone, you know what I mean? Which like, you know, people joke about like, oh man, I don't want to be in a place with high testosterone, but it's like, dog, when you're a man, that's your happiness. That's literally that, like the chemicals that produce from that, like that gives you happiness, you know what I mean? And like going about this journey that we're on, where it's like, okay, we're trying to get our exercise in every single, not even trying, we're doing our exercise every single day, whether we want to or not. Like that shit, like I don't, just starting that exercise journey like alone, like fucking, it brought about so much happiness within, man.
I mean, yeah, and instead of, like you said, the overstimulation from the internet, from porn, from all that, you get that dopamine from the exercise. You get that
Uh-huh.
dopamine from reading, from gaining knowledge, from learning new stuff, instead of just the same old, where, like you said, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah,
So,
shit that's
and
like applicable in the real world, you know. And like my
yeah,
relationship wasn't getting better the more time I spent on video games. My relationship wasn't getting better the more time I spent watching porn. My relationship wasn't getting better the more time I spent getting high. Like, and I feel like shit now because it's like she didn't even like to smoke, and all I did was smoke. I mean, y'all have seen me, guys. Like, there was I couldn't even get on the show unless I was like high out of my mind because I was so insecure with myself that I was just constantly in my head, just killing myself, like literally. You know what I mean?
well, it's that internal anxiety that just builds up and just builds up until basically, you know,
It
it just
implodes, man.
it implodes and makes you either go into a corner or worse.
Yeah, I just and it just the reason why we kind of bring it up is because it's like that was me, but it is not me anymore. Now, like now, I walk in the room and people are like, "Oh shit!" Like I want what he's like. I'll have what he's having. You know what I mean? Where it's like, shit, like that's the energy that I want, and it's like it makes me feel amazing. But it's not like I'm searching for validation from other people. Like I had to go seek that validation from within. Like I literally had to get to a point where I was like, man, like if I want to be the guy that is in my head, I got to do the push-ups every day. You know, that's where I started like, you got to, if you're not doing 20 push-ups a day, but you're spending more than an hour like scrolling through TikToks and, oh, look at the Star Wars casting. Oh, look, oh man, like let me bitch about the fucking, you know, like all these DC movies getting canceled and shit. Like, dog, this shit does not matter. You know, like this shit does not fucking matter in the real world. Like this is all just like distractions and shit. You know, and like how the fuck is, you know, like the Flash movie getting pushed back and me talking about it for 3 hours? Like how is that going to make my life better? You know, like how are my relationships going to grow from that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it was like, really had to just break it down to the point where it was like, what is important to me? What is important to me is my physical health and my mental health. And that's the whole, like, this whole disconnect. Oh, well, I don't feel like it. Oh, well, you know, you're at a different point in your life, Ayden, so you can't be you know, you can't be upset at me because I don't want to work. Dog, you know the fuck I wanted to blow my brains out. You know, like, every day. Like, you know, I don't know if anyone's ever had this moment of like driving on the highway, being on one of those big ass ramps. I would literally have to stop myself from being like, what if I just fucking
Just
yank
swerve.
to this, just fucking yank to this shit, and like I don't have to feel it anymore. Now it's like I couldn't even fathom having those thoughts anymore. You know, like the respect that I have for myself, the love that I have for myself, like I can never even imagine like being at this point now. You know what I mean? And it's like I say this shit because this is the shit that like people are afraid to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, and people have these thoughts all the time,
Yeah.
if not worse.
People going through it every day.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I got to a point where I was like, okay, well, let me just start the exercise. I don't really know what I'm doing, but like, let me just at least work out for like 30 minutes a day for 2 weeks. I'll just see what happens for 2 weeks. I'm still eating the shitty food, and like I was at a point where like I was eating McDonald's like every single day for like
Yeah.
6 months. But I mean, with just starting the workouts, I was like, okay, well, like I got
Isn't it funny when you start the workouts? Because this, me and my wife work, so usually she'll bring home. Well, she did. She brought home fast food and all that because I'm like, I got a podcast, I ain't got time, so eat a
it's
burger and
easy.
run. Yeah, it's easy. It's fucking
They
convenient.
make it
It's
easy
it's the
for you.
worst. It's the worst shit for you. And it's funny is when I started exercising and she brought up McDonald's or fast food, I'm just like, I didn't put all the work in
For
for that.
this. Yeah.
So now, luckily, we found a restaurant that does poke bowls, and so I'm like, give me a poke bowl if you're going somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Just stop and get that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh
Give
yeah.
me that.
The
Give me that
healthy
fresh
shit.
fish, yo.
And that's the thing, man. It's like, because you've been on it now for about like 2 weeks straight.
2 weeks,
Like,
yeah.
keeping it, and like I can already tell the difference between you 2 weeks ago versus you today. Like, there's more energy, there's more of a positive energy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even in like your skin, man. You're looking clear. You know what I'm saying? Like it's mind, body, and soul, man, are all connected together. So it's like when you treat your body with respect, you're treating your brain with respect. And we talk about this shit all the time where it's like, oh well, like mental health. At what point, guys? Like, and seriously, at what fucking point are we sick of having the conversation? Oh well, mental health is important. Well, what the fuck are you doing about it?
Yeah.
What are you like? I'm looking straight at the camera right now, and like whoever the fuck is like listening or watching this, like, what the fuck are you doing about your mental health? You're spending 8 hours a day playing who gives a fuck. You're watching porn 3 times a day. You sick fuck. Stop. Like, you don't have any social skills with people outside of your discords and bitching at bots on Twitter. you know you don't even think for yourself. You think for yourself, but you don't even think for yourself. You just reiterate all the same shit that you see on social media. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is why I don't take sides and shit. Like, I don't consider myself like, I don't fuck that. Like, I don't consider sides. Like, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, but it's like, you ask a
Politics is all
Republican,
bullshit.
yeah,
And
you
at the
ask a
end of the
Republican,
day,
oh fuck Joe
it's all
Biden.
bullshit.
You ask a Democrat, oh fuck Donald Trump. And it's like, it's all reiterated shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't even have the opinion for yourself. You can still dislike these people if you go out and do some like research on them. Like, I'm not stopping you from doing it, but it's like, you don't even know why you don't like these people. And that is applicable to everything. Like, we're gonna do high flyer later, but it's like WWE fans, fuck AEW fans, oh fuck WWE. Why?
I'm
You don't
I'm
even know why.
Yeah, and my thing is I'm just happy for good wrestling. Like
Yeah.
like that WWE, the SummerSlam shit. That was fucking good. Fucking
Raw this
ace.
week,
Yeah, and
fire.
AEW's doing good
Yeah.
shit that I like. I
Can't wait to watch
love seeing
SmackDown
John
tonight.
Moxley on my TV. Fuck.
Absolutely.
I love Orange Cassidy. Like, fuck. I am like, you're taking somebody who loved wrestling when they were a kid back in the early 90s and hasn't really watched it since.
Yeah.
And now I've come back and I'm like, this is really entertaining. This is really
Yeah.
interesting.
And it's like,
I'm
who gives a
I
fuck
like what they're
what the
doing.
tribe is? You know,
Yeah.
like it's that tribal shit. It's like, who gives a fuck? It's
Like
good content.
I had no idea who Kenny Omega was. And then I watched it, I'm going, this dude is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And this is like, it's applicable to everything, man. Where it's like, man, like, why are we as humans so like? I want to do more reading and like go back to like, why are we so tribalistic with this shit? It all
We all
comes
just
back
want
down
to
to like,
fight. I don't
yeah,
understand it. You get
yeah,
much farther working as a team. And
exactly, man. And this comes down to like this man versus woman bullshit that I fucking hate. That I would love to really get into deep one day. Like I would love to have like two women come on the show and like sit with us and like have a conversation about like, is this man versus woman shit real? Because I don't. I think it's a fucking. I think it's a distraction that they want you to think. You know what I mean? And like, and I'm, I'm probably gonna start losing friends to be honest. But you know what? I really don't give a shit because I'm being truthful to myself. You know what I mean? But it's like this whole movement of like, oh fuck men, like I hate that shit. Like like people don't understand like the way that and I've talked about it, like the demasculinization of man. You know what I mean? Like it is okay to be a man and to have masculine energy because that is
yeah,
who we are. Like it is like there's a difference between having masculine energy and being some big fucking macho asshole who thinks he can push around women because he's twice their size. Like if you're doing that, you're a fucking loser, and like you absolutely should be ashamed of yourself. But it's not because you're a man; it's because you're a fucking pussy. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah,
there's nothing wrong in society wants you to think, oh well, like, oh, femininity is weak. No, it's not.
no.
Like a strong woman is a strong woman. You know what I mean? And it's like we're getting into this weird point in society where it's almost as if like shit is flipped and it's all because everyone wants to be equal. And it's like we are all equal, but at the same time, evolutionary and like on an evolutionary level and like on a scientific level and the way that our brains work, like when we stay within our roles, it that is where like real mental health comes from. Like I myself was finding myself in a position where like I'm more of a masculine man. Like that is who I am. Like I've always been that way. But I wanted to try to be more feminine with my shit because like that's what society's conditioning me to think that I need
Hmm.
to act this way, and it was killing me. Like if you're a feminine man, that's awesome as long as you are playing into like your feminine aspects more than your because when you start playing into your masculine aspects, you're gonna find discomfort in that.
Well, you got to be
It's
yourself. At
you
the
have
end
to
of
be
the day, you
yourself.
have to be yourself.
You have to be yourself. And
Because
this
if
is
you
that
don't,
herd shit.
you're right. That kills you.
Yeah,
You just become a stranger to yourself,
exactly.
and you find no point in your day to day life. That's what ends up
Exactly. You're a
happening.
stranger to
Is you
yourself.
have to be true to yourself in anything and everything you do.
Yeah. And it goes both ways, man, where it's like even women, like it's okay to be a feminine woman. You know what I mean? Like if doing masculine shit is not for you, don't fucking do it. It's okay
Yeah,
to be a
don't
masculine
hurt
woman. As
yourself.
long as that's what you're cut, play, what I mean? Like play to the cloth that you're cut from, man. You quit trying to be both because whenever you get rid of the polarity between the two, that's where you find discomfort and that's where you're finding this unhappiness. You've got all these men like testosterone levels are fucking lower than they've ever been, and so many men are unhappy. Well, dog, the reason you're unhappy is because you're not going based off of what is in your DNA. You know what I mean? And it's not on some like weird like y'all know how we are. We're very supportive of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to come at it from some weird like, oh, Aiden's misogynistic. Not at all. Man. I'm just telling you, you have to understand like what makes a woman a woman. You have to understand like what makes a man on a DNA level, on that level alone, just because it's like that's where you find your happiness from. You know, it's like when I'm sitting around gossiping about shit that I don't give a fuck about, it fucks with my mental health. I don't give a fuck about gossiping about bullshit because like that's a real feminine thing to do, and that doesn't play to who I am as a person. I find my strength trying to be a leader and trying to, create roles for people, trying to organize shit for people because I find myself being more of that leader, that masculine role. You know what I'm saying? It's like we as society need to break down more so like what the terms of these words are rather than just like this depiction that we think it is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I feel like that's where a lot of this shit kind of comes from. But a lot of that, man, like I've got it right here, man. Like this book, like it's fucking life changing, man. Like The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. I think that's how you say it, man. Like the introduction to this book alone, like completely, I was like, okay, like I understand now. Like I get why I felt this way for so long. I get why I see this. You know what I mean? Like even reading this, I was like, okay, now I understand how my aunt, my uncle's relationship works because my uncle's a more feminine man and my aunt is a more masculine woman. That polarity between them brings them together and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it works for them. You know what I'm saying? So like I was finding myself in these relationships that weren't working because I was trying to be a feminine man when that wasn't playing to me, and I was trying to get with more masculine women, and I didn't enjoy it because inherently I knew I was a masculine man. I was like, this is my best friend. I don't even want to fuck her.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, and not to be like, but it's like I don't even want to have sex with you because it's like I look at you like you're one of the bros.
Exactly.
That's you know. Now I'm gonna get canceled for saying all the shit that I don't
Now,
give a
no,
fuck.
we're
Like
this is what this whole show is about. It's just honesty, and putting out there on what we're learning, what we're finding in ourselves, and how we're going to continue to grow. And as we continue to grow, our opinions on things are going to change from what they were. So
which is okay. Like it's
yeah,
okay
which
to
is fine.
change your mind when you get
And it's
when you get
okay.
more
And
access to new knowledge.
if anybody ever wants to come on and talk about it,
Yeah, I'd love
you're
to.
more than welcome.
Yeah, it's just like I just think that it's such an important thing because like I'm seeing so many other men were on the same path that I was on. Like, and I'm only talking from like a male perspective because like I don't really feel as though I really can talk for women. But like I'm seeing so many young men, even like my friends, that I'm having to grow a distance between because it's like I see the bullshit that I was on and you're doing it and I'm showing you the way. Like I'm here, I'm the embodiment of what the fuck we all say that we want to do. Like we all say we want to do, what is best for our mental health. Well, I went and fucking did it and I showed you the way and now you don't want to do it because it's too hard. You don't have any right to complain anymore then. Like I
And
don't
people have to understand you don't have, it's not going to be a total change right away. You
know.
got to start though. You got to start, and it's going to be difficult, but it's going to get easier and easier and easier. Just like any like exercise. Like
Yeah.
the more you do it, the easier it gets, and then you can push yourself even farther. And that's exactly what I've been doing. Is I started out 15 minutes, and fuck, those 15 minutes were difficult. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, for 3 or 4 days, those 15 minutes fucking sucked. And then
Yeah.
I pushed myself to 30, and then to an hour. So it's just, it's
Yeah.
you got to start. That's
We're
the whole
so
thing.
we're so used to this instant gratification lifestyle, man. Like, oh, I'm bored. I don't want to look at a hot girl. Okay, let me go to Instagram. Let me look at a fitness model. Okay, okay. Scrolling through Instagram. Okay, well, oh, I see this shirt. Oh, that shirt looks cool. Let me. Oh man, like I really don't have the funds for it. Like I gotta pay rent tomorrow, but the shirt's $49, and I've got $50, so I can afford it. So let me buy it now. Okay, well now you can't pay rent tomorrow or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck the bill was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like we keep setting ourselves back. Like we have to just like discipline and patience, man. Like we have to go back to. I mean, I had to relearn it, man. Like I literally had to relearn discipline. Like, I've been setting candy on my desk to just sit there to be like, I don't need this. Like 2 years ago, I would have ran through everything. You know what I mean? But I've
Hmm.
got it sitting here just to be like, It's in front of me. I can see it. Why would I want to throw away all the work that I've been putting in for the past year on my body and my mind for 3 minutes of a dopamine rush, man? Like
And
that's what that like you were saying with the McDonald's, man.
well, yeah, exactly. Why would I want that after I've done all this? Like that
Yeah,
is totally opposite of what I'm trying to get to. So one thing leads to another, and it's generally healthier habits in that form. Um, but what I was going to go on was from reading from Leaders Eat Last. That's what I'm currently reading now. People get too much focused on the short term goal. They don't look at the long term goal. So in Leaders Eat Last, it's more they're talking about companies. They're talking about like GE, and what GE did is they focused on getting maximum amount for their stockholders,
yeah,
and that was a good short term gain, but over long term it hurt them. And you look at Costco, and Costco has always been focused on their employee, making their employees happy, which makes their customers happy. And they didn't get this big drastic, shooting up, but over the
yeah,
years, they're worth more than GE now. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
you
It's
got to make long-term goals, and you got to make incremental changes to get to that. And you're
yeah,
not going to see day to day to day. You're not going to see with each day, but if you look and you start looking, week out, you start looking months out, you start looking years out, you're going
yep,
to start seeing changes,
yep.
positive
100%,
changes in your
man.
life.
100%, man. Like I'm like and that's a great point, man. Like thinking about like all the work that I put in today is not for me to enjoy today. It's for me to enjoy in the future. You know what I mean? Like I don't have, like good arms because I did 100 push-ups today. It's like it's not because what I put in today. This is
It's what you
because
put over
is
time.
this is what I did last year. Exactly. Like, and this is the thing, like you need to be doing the same thing for 5 to 10 years and expect little to no results come of it.
Yeah.
Like that, like as meant, that's how you need to operate. You need to operate with the mindset of like, I'm putting in the work, I'm putting the work in today. I may not see the results for this for a long time, but you have to have that faith to be like, okay, I know the results are coming. You know what I mean? Like I've been
And
saying for, oh, I want my abs to be good. Man, I'm still don't really have the abs that I want, but I'm putting in work today because I know in a year from now, when I look completely different from how I look at
you'll
this
have the
moment,
abs you want.
I'm gonna be thankful for what I did today.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, is I think people get frustrated in the beginning. Like
Yeah.
even I was thinking after running after a day or 2 days, and look down my stomach, like I'm still fat. And it's like I just got to remember, like, it took you 8 to 10 years to get this way. You ain't going to get
Yeah.
rid of it overnight.
No.
So you got to start, and you got to keep going, and you got to just do it day to day to day, and just focus on that long-term goal, because you can't get frustrated at the very beginning and just be like, I quit, because that's not going to do you any good, and you're just going to end up in the same place.
Yeah. You almost your goals start to like shift a little bit on the journey where it was like you were saying like, okay, I'm running for 15 minutes. Okay, well, I know I can run for more than that, so let me crank it up. And you turned it up, you know what I mean? And now it's like, now that's the goal. Where it was like, back when I lived in San Antonio, I would go for a run on the Riverwalk every day. And I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna run for 30 minutes a day every single day. So I'd run 15 minutes this direction, and I would run 15 minutes back the other direction. And I would notice, like each day, 15 minutes, I would get a little bit farther than I did the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, like these are little things that you don't realize are at, but like next thing you know, like 15 minutes go by and I've doubled the distance that I used to be able to like 2 weeks before that. It's like you put in the work today, and like you plant every day. You know what they say, the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The second best time is today. Like and that's the fucking truth, man. Like if you want to be somewhere and you see yourself being somewhere in life and you know that you can get there, you need to be doing something today.
Yeah, I
Like this
think
month, like turn this, like don't turn the podcast off, but put it in your ears and do fucking 20 push-ups right now. If you're
yes,
struggling with like if you struggle with like a body image or something and like you want to be more like a healthy person, do fucking 20 push-ups
go for
right
it.
now. What
Go
is
for it.
stopping you?
Go
Oh,
do
well, let me
do
get a little
do
sweaty.
15
Let me
minutes
get a
on the
little,
treadmill.
yeah. Do something every single day that makes you uncomfortable. That is how you should live life. But I digress, man. It's just I just see more and more like these men and like women that are just living unhappy lives. Whenever you're a kid and you look up at adults, you just because you're a kid and you're optimistic about the world and like you don't really know what all's going on yet. You're like, oh well, all adults are happy. All
Yeah,
adults have the life that they
and
want to live.
then you grow up and you realize that most people aren't happy.
Not at all. Like I
No.
I I would. I mean the ratio is definitely there's way more unhappy people than there are happy people. You know what I mean? And it's because of like I feel like a lot of it, honestly, man, is like a lack of accountability. Like
And
I really had to be fucking brutally honest with myself about shit.
yeah, and I had to get that way too, and I had to stop making excuses. I would always make excuses why I didn't want to work out. Like I got a
Me
fucked
too.
up ankle, and I would be like, "Oh, my ankle's fucked up." And it's just like, you know what? At this point, fuck that, because not doing anything ain't helping it. It's not like it's a fucked up ankle.
Yeah.
So what? Like maybe it'll be less fucked up if I lose some weight.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yeah. And I had the same thing where like when I moved back to Dallas, I was kind of like, oh well, shit, like I don't really have time to be working out. So I fucking made time. Like I literally started going to bed earlier, waking up earlier to
You
make
don't
time for myself because I
you
know the shit
don't
that's
realize how
important.
much time you actually have until you do that. Until
Oh
you
yeah.
start waking up at fucking 5:30 on a weekend. And then you've already done by the time it's like 9 or 10, you've already done a shit ton of stuff and you're like, "Well,
Yeah.
that was productive."
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it feels fucking amazing. Like people at work like they'll clown on me because oh, man, like Aiden wakes up at 5:30 in the morning, 6 a.m. and like works out for 2 hours. Jeez, wouldn't want to be him. I'm like, yeah, I know that comes from a place of like subconsciously they know that they don't have what it takes to do what the fuck we do. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
really where a lot of this shit comes from, where like people deflect it. Oh well, like oh wow, like you don't eat any sugar, man. Like oh wow, like what a life. I wouldn't want to live that. No, it's because you know that I've unlocked that discipline, and you know that I have something that you don't have to be able to resist those urges anymore, man. Like I fucking love ice cream. I'm not gonna eat
Yeah.
this shit every fucking day. I'm not gonna eat donuts every day, man,
Uh,
because I know that this just fucking killing me, man.
oh shit, I was at the conference. They had lunch yesterday. They were passing bread rolls and I'm like, "Nope.
Nope, pass it on, man. Get them carbs out of here. Get
Nope.
it out of here, man.
Not for that day." Although I did go to Texas Roadhouse, but I did much better than I usually do. I only
Hey,
had one
man,
roll. Had one
small
roll,
victories.
and then I got the 6-ounce steak, and like I,
It starts
it's
small,
changing.
man. It starts
Yeah,
small.
it's changing habits, and it's not completely denying yourself in that regard, because if
Yeah,
you do that, you're not going to be happy either. Like,
no,
why are you going to pay for a meal that you're not going to enjoy? Like
yeah,
for me, like I'll pay $15 for a Pokeball because I love Pokeballs. Like I'll eat the
hmm
shit out of that, and I'll pay and if I go to Texas Roadhouse, yeah, I'm probably gonna have a roll. Like, like the whole fucking point of going to Texas Roadhouse is a roll, for the most part.
yeah, pretty much.
It's like the biscuits at Red Lobster. Like you don't go to Red Lobster for the
Yeah,
lobster. Let's be
no one
real here.
goes for the lobster. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So
It's all
you
about it's
can't
all
like
about those
deny
rolls.
everything. That's not good for the mental either. But
No,
you can lessen it. You can not eat all four biscuits at Red Lobster along with, whatever the thing with the most butter is. Like you can change that. Don't have your salad swimming in dressing. Actually, just don't order salads at restaurants. Those are literally the worst thing.
yeah,
It's better to
no.
order a burger. than a salad.
Yeah, it really is. Um, yeah, no, we're not telling you to like go out there and like get cut like fucking Sylvester Stallone, and, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like we're not like, we're far away from that. You know, and like like I'm a like a lot of people look at me and they're like, damn, like I wish I could have that physique. But I'm like, man, I know in my head, I'm like, I'm so far away from the point where I want to be. You know what I mean? But it's like it's the gradual work that you put in every single day. You know what I mean? Like I'm just every day I'm putting like I look at it where I'm depositing like another quarter in my piggy bank where I'm like, all right, did my workout for the day, ate good today, boom. Like I can
Yeah.
drop another
And
quarter in my in
and
my little in my currency.
and mentally in my head, because I've been fat most of my life. Throughout, there was one point in my life where I was running 10 miles a day. That was the only time I was thin.
Yeah.
And right now in my head, all I'm thinking about right now is the treadmill. Because after this, I'm probably getting on the treadmill. But I want to
Yeah.
get jacked. I want fucking huge arms. I want to be fucking
Yeah.
jacked. I
If
want
you want to be like Stallone and Schwarzenegger, yeah, absolutely. Like make like we want that. We want to be like
yeah.
that. But it takes work. It takes time.
And some of the podcasters we've been listening to, what was
Yeah.
his name? Mike.
Mike
Is
Rashid,
it
Mike
Mike
Rashad.
Rashid? Mike Rashid, and I've seen pictures of Mike Rashid, which is just fucking huge. I'm just like, I want to be like that. I want
Yeah,
to
it's
be
like,
like
wouldn't it be
that.
nice to look like that? Yeah,
Yeah,
probably nice. Probably
yeah.
really nice.
Like I might not get to that level, but like I want to have like nice toned arms. I
Yeah.
want like not a
And
flabby
it's almost like
chest.
they want us to not be able to say that we want those things.
Yeah,
Like it's almost like they make us feel like it's, oh well, like, and man, this is another thing I'm gonna get fucking hate for, like the body positivity movement, man. Like if you are happy with the way you look, dog, here's to you. But like this is the real fucking truth, man. When your health benefits get to a point where like you are leaving your family members behind with bills whenever you die, and you've died at a premature age because you didn't take care of yourself, man. Is that something you really want to be positive about? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I'm not trying to sound like a hater and like, oh, Aiden hates fat people and shit, but it's like, dog, be fucking real about yourself. You don't feel positive about yourself, man. You like, and this is, I'm not telling you to go out there and be Stallone, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Whenever you walk up those steps and you're breathing heavy and the brother behind you is waiting on you to move a little faster. Like these things, they fucking add up and they eat at you and they take away from you, man. Like I'm just saying, man, like take care of yourselves. Like please, for the love of God, take care of yourselves, man. Um, man, I had a point that I wanted to bring up a little earlier though. I was talking about, yeah, you don't have to be like Stallone and all of them, you know what I mean? But it's like just like a general like 30 minutes to an hour every single day. Like it's like Vince McMahon says. It's not like I look up to Vince McMahon, but like Vince
Especially
is
now.
fucking 70 years old. Yeah, especially now. He's jacked, but he's like, I go to the gym for my mental health, which is something I would never expect to hear him say, but it's so true. Like when I'm fighting
Yeah,
demons, I go to the gym.
and this is what I'm learning from is billionaires. Billionaires have fucking mental health problems too. They have time to go to the gym for sure
Yeah.
compared to most regular people. But here's the thing is we always make the excuses, oh, we don't have time because I'm always working or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's just like you literally can make time. Like it's just you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I could have always between like when I got home after work, I had time to get on the treadmill. I just didn't want to. And then I would eat dinner and then I'd go podcast and then I had time to get on the treadmill after the podcast, but I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And once you figure out like what you really want and basically what you probably really need, then you find time.
Yep. It's and I promise you, fellas, like you're gonna feel even better. You know what I mean? Like whenever you wait for things, you know what I mean? Like, all right, maybe I'm not gonna play, Apex tonight for 3 hours. Maybe I'll go to the gym for 1 hour you know what I mean, and just see how that feels, and and use it almost in like a, for, I'm gonna go to the gym for 1 hour so I can play a video game for 1 hour. Like
Yeah.
if you need to start small or whatever, I encourage you to do those kind of things. Overall, I mean, y'all know me. Like I'm encouraging y'all to like completely drop social media, completely cut the video games, completely like cut it all. Like that's my ideal world, but I know that it's not realistic to start like that. If you can and you're able to do that, like here's to you. You're gonna feel the withdrawals, but like I'm on that journey with you, man. Like so I support it, but just
I'll
small
say
victories.
drop. I'll say if you're gonna drop anything, drop Facebook. Just
Yeah,
nobody
cut
needs
that
that.
shit.
Nobody
Nah,
needs that.
nah. And it's, man, they're like drones too, man. Like they got you to the point where like you will defend the platform. Like and
No,
it's
I,
like,
I like I still have a Facebook account, but I never fucking log into it, and it's
yeah,
been like forever years because
I've got one. I just
at
don't log in.
some point, I was smart enough to go, this is affecting me mentally, just because nobody ever posts bad shit on there. They
Nope.
generally don't. It's always good shit of people going on vacations, people people like who work out looking good and this and
Hmm.
that, and you just get hit with this positivity, and you're just sitting there like going, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece
Yep.
of shit constantly because you're just getting this constant wave because those people aren't telling the truth when they post that.
No, they're
It's not the
not.
truth. It's not the whole truth. It's a moment in their life, and you don't know, like, you don't know if they're like drug riddled or what, like, or if
Yep.
they're, what else is going on in the background. All you see is them smiling and they're like in the Bahamas. And you're like, I wish I
Yep.
was in the Bahamas. And it's just like, it starts from there and you spiral down to the point where, you're just constantly on there, just flipping through, going, I wish this was me. And it's like, you can, you,
It could
you
be
can get
you.
to that point. That could
You
be
could
you.
literally do the exact
You
same
could
thing.
do that. Just buy a
But you're on
fucking plane
Instagram
ticket.
right now. Yeah, you're on Instagram right now thinking about how that could be you instead of
Yeah.
taking action and making it who you are. And that's really like the whole point of like what we've been talking about today, man. Like it starts with the habits, man. Like stop waking up, you know, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. and beyond. Like stop that shit. Like you need to cut that out. Get at least 6 hours of sleep minimum. Like that is the minimum amount of
Yeah.
sleep that you
I
need to
I,
be a
I
functioning
my
human.
my next goal, because I didn't get started this week and I should beat myself for that. But I didn't start waking up at 3:30. Like I could not bring myself to wake up at 3:30 this week.
Yeah. I'm struggling to get myself to wake up at 5. That's a personal goal I'm working on. I can wake up 5:30, but I want to be up at 5 because the Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes that I'm trying to get in are like 6:15 a.m. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I need that time to be able to get up so that way I can get myself there on time. You know
I
what
think
I
I
mean?
think I woke up
That's a
at
personal
5.
goal.
I woke up at 5:15 today because today I didn't have to be to the conference till later. But I took that time and I still did 30 minutes on the treadmill because
Yeah.
that's my habit now, is especially on the weekends I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to hit that treadmill.
The morning exercise is like fucking major key, man. Like the
And
dopamine that it
that's
releases to your
that's and
system in
that's
the
what I
morning.
need. That's what I need. And I've been trying to supplement with night treadmill time, and I don't know if it's as good as if at 3:30, if I can get up at 3:30, do even 30 minutes to an hour and then go from there. And welcome, Kylie. Thank you for joining us. I think we're close
Yes.
to the end now,
Yeah,
but
we're wrapping up soon.
yeah,
But you
but
can
yeah,
go back
that's
and watch it.
yeah, for sure. It'll be up there. So, um, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to progress better, and my next goals are, and I think that should be good. We should end with what our next, at least
Yeah.
smaller goals are. Is I'm trying to wake up at 3:30, get 30 minutes to an hour on the treadmill. I'm going to clean my garage to get my weight system set up because I got a bench and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
already I'm already almost there. And that's, and I think read more. Like I read one book already. how to make friends and influence people, which is a great book. I
Ooh,
recommend
yeah,
that
I
book to
really want to
anyone.
read that
It
one.
really, like, it's really simple shit that you think we would know, but you don't
Nope.
use it because nobody ever told you, and you read this and you're like, oh.
Makes
And to
sense.
change my perspective on things, because I would always go into work and I'd be anxious about shit, about having to deal with people and stuff, and it's just like, just gets you to think differently and be like, oh no, this, I have to think like this. Like, I'm going in there, and not only I'm going in there to help people, I'm going in there, to connect with people, and not just, be, you know, fucking mad all the time
Yeah.
about it. So
It's all mindset,
yeah, it's all mindset.
which is, man, maybe we'll talk about like mindset next time. But like, yeah, man, I really want to start waking up at 5 a.m. That's one of my main goals. Like, be more on top of that. So that way I've got an additional hour on my day of productivity. Um, I really would like to get to the point where I'm reading like 2 to 3 books a week. Like right now, I'm doing about 1 book a week. Um, and this is where I'm talking about, man. Like, you need to make time. You can make time out of your day. Like, cutting out social media, dude. Like that was an easy 6 hours a day that I got back in my life, dude. Like
Oh yeah.
easy six
Oh
hours.
yeah. And on top of that, I've supplemented like that for when I'm on the treadmill, to like motivational podcast, or
Yep.
like, you know, um Micro Sheeds podcast, mostly Micro Sheeds podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I've
a
just
great
been going through
podcast,
that
man.
one, and Immortal, I forget his tag.
Oh,
It's
Immortal
Immortal.
Minds. Is
Oh,
that it?
Immortal Minds. Like, that man, like, I don't know how old that man is, but he is full of really good knowledge.
Oh
Like,
man,
just
you
generally
know he's
good.
read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to be like that one day. He's got some great knowledge. But yeah, man, it's all about like what you consume, like, and that's everything. That's visual. That's your like what you're hearing, like what podcasts you're consuming, what music you're listening to, what you're putting into your body, like it's everything, man. Because like when you put bad food in your stomach, that's not good. When you're
I
constantly listening to negative podcasts and like negative music, it's not good. Like I stopped
Yeah.
listening to like as much rap as I normally listen to, because like I'll put it on in the morning when I'm at the gym and I want that boost of that, like, okay, I'm gonna hit this shit hard. Like I really want to feel it in my soul. But like whenever I'm done with that, I'm like, okay, let me throw on some Sade and like just some more like, just instrumental shit,
more
because like
more
I don't need that negativity influencing my life on a subconscious
I,
level.
I will say, basically all I've been listening to after hearing Mike Rashid and Kevin Gates, I've just been listening to Kevin Gates. That's all I've been fucking listening to.
Yeah, that episode was great, man.
That was like, and that gets you. I loved I The one thing, like, I just clearly remember is Kevin Gates saying about how he had to get rid of his trainer, because, like, how can you train me? You've never been fat. I'm just like perfect way to sum
Yep.
that up is, if you've never been fat, you don't know how to deal with a fat guy.
You don't know what the struggle is. You don't know
Yeah.
how like the temptation that they feel, just that they feel just to eat shit. And it like literally eats your emotions away. And
and
that's
and
the
and
point where I
it's
was
it's
at.
and it's well, and it's not even like to eat. Like, I don't even eat. I didn't even eat that much.
Yeah,
Like, to be honest, it's just what I ate was shit when I did
yeah,
eat, and it's just like, it's just, it's either convenience, or it's because, I need that dopamine kick, like, to feel good. And
yeah.
once you get past that, once you're like, well, this smoothie, you can have a smoothie,
Once you
good greens in
understand
it.
like
Yeah.
why you're doing the shit that you're doing, like on like a like scientific level, and like understanding what is firing in your brain to make yourself do those decisions, like everything changes. Like I got to the point where I was, oh man, I really want to eat right now. Do I want to eat, or is it just, and I forget what the chemical is, or am I just producing a lot of that chemical right now? Yeah, I actually really don't want to eat right now. Instead
Yeah.
of eating, I'm gonna read a book and stimulate myself some other way.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
before,
It's all shit like
like
that.
like the only thing, like, we talked about fasting earlier. earlier during the week. I think either this week or last week. And today I was like, I made coffee. I didn't really have food, and I didn't have food at the conference. And before this podcast, I was like, I could eat something. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna fast till dinner. Why not? I'm already at
Why
this
not?
point.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's so unhealthy. No, like literally, man, we should do a whole episode on like food and shit, man. I'm gonna save these thoughts. I'm gonna save these
Yeah,
thoughts for another time. For another time. I think we've been going for a good enough bit of
good enough
time
time.
here now. I don't know, man. I guess do we want to plug anything?
I mean, I'll plug the Patreon, patreon.com/the nerdcore, because the more that grows, the more people like we can talk to, and you can talk to us, and you can, just a bigger audience in general.
Yeah.
And we can expand on this. We can make, if we're getting paid for this, we can make this 2-3 hour shows for y'all. That's the truth.
I'd love to do like guests and shit, like have people come on and like talk about their
I'd love
struggles
to
or
I'd love to see
whatever.
if we like one day get like Mike Rashid, just to be in
Oh yeah, that'd be
presence.
sick.
Dear God.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be sick. I definitely like would like to pick some people's brains, man. But
Or Kevin Gates. I'd love Kevin Gates. Just
yeah, let's get Kevin Gates on. Yeah, man. But I mean, I don't have anything that I want to plug. I've got High Flyer Radio coming on tonight in about an hour from now. If you're watching live, so definitely check that out. With
then
myself
we have the live show after that. So
Mhm. It's a busy Fridays are busy days on the Nerd Core. You know, that's how we keep
which
it.
isn't
Man.
bad. It's not bad to be busy.
It is not bad to be busy. We're being productive, man.
Yep.
But I guess if I wanted to finish with like some overall thoughts, man, it's just like it really is start creating good habits today, man. Like start today. I don't give a fuck about start tomorrow,
And
because that never
and
works. Start
you
today.
can start small.
Yeah.
Like 15 minutes on the treadmill. You can do 15 minutes. If I can do 15 minutes,
20
you can do
push-ups.
15 minutes. Yeah.
This is what we challenge you to. Do 20 push-ups every single day and go for a walk on the treadmill or go for a walk for at least like 15 to 30 minutes every single day until the next episode. So it'll be 2 weeks.
And just see how
just
you
try
feel.
it. Just fucking try it. That's it.
That's it.
Man.
That's all we got.
I'm good. That's all I got, man.
Love, health, and happiness for y'all. So, thank you, Ayden. Thank you to Kylie for joining us. And we're going to end this broadcast because, I think we did good today.
Yeah. For sure.
Later, everybody.